Hi everyone, my name is Hannah and welcome back to my home. Today I'm going to be making a veganized version of Claire Saffitz almond poppy seed cake. This is one of my favorites. It's a super easy recipe that you can just dump everything in the stand mixer and then bake it, and it tastes really great. Claire Saffitz is a baker here on YouTube, and she makes a lot of beautiful and delicious desserts, but unfortunately very few of her things are vegan. So I'm going to be adapting one of her recipes, making it vegan, and hopefully you all will come along with me for the ride. Before I started, I preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I greased and floured my bundt cake. I think you can make this in loaves, but Claire makes this in a bundt, and I really like that as well. I used this thing, it's called a misto, and it's just a really handy little tool that is a kind of zero waste option for spray oil. You fill it with your own oil, and then you can spray it in your pan. It's really useful for that. So I really like this tool, so I don't have to go through so many like cans of spray oil. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my vegan egg substitute. I'm going to use this Ener-G Egg replacer, but you can pretty much use whatever type you want. I haven't tested this recipe with other options, but since this is a poppy seed cake, this would probably be a really good application for a chia egg, if that's your preferred method. So her recipe calls for 3 eggs, which for me is going to be a tablespoon and then a teaspoon and a half of this egg replacement powder, along with 2 tablespoons, so 6 tablespoons of warm water. So I'm going to add the water in there, and then I will come back, give this a few minutes to sit, and then I'll come back once it's all congealed and add in the rest of my ingredients. Now that my egg substitute has thickened, I'm going to add all of my dry ingredients. The first ingredient is 3 cups of flour. It's 390 grams. I like to use a scale because I find measuring flour very tedious. So I'm going to put 390 grams of flour in here. I'll add 2 cups of sugar. Perfect. A 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds. A teaspoon and a half of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And I will leave this recipe down in the description below. Now I'm just going to take my stand mixer, and I'm just going to give these ingredients a quick stir. Next we'll add our wet, which is 1 cup of vegetable oil or canola oil, and 1.5 cups of milk, whatever kind you like. we have the extracts. So we've got a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, which I usually don't measure, but I do measure for this recipe because the extract quantity is really important. So 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla and a 1.5 teaspoons of almond. So that's it. I'm gonna mix this on low. You kind of have to mix it pretty well so that you don't have any lumps or anything. So I'm just gonna mix this on low for a couple of minutes, and then I'll pour it into my pan and put it into my preheated oven. Alright, I've got my cake in my prepared pan, and now I'm going to put it in the oven for 80 to 90 minutes. It's a long bake time because it's pretty big and it's quite, it's somewhat dense. So 80 to 90 minutes, and then I will see you when we pull it out of the oven. And we're back. I've taken the cake out of the oven. I let it cool almost completely. It's a little bit warm, but I was able to unmold it all in one piece. Now I recommend, especially if you're going to use like an intricate bundt pan, that you make sure that you let it cool all the way, or it does have a tendency of splitting. So let's cut it open and have a piece. You can also do a glaze on this, like a lemon glaze would be really nice. I think it's plenty sweet without icing or a glaze. So here's the interior. It's got kind of a thicker consistency, really nice crumb. You can see it's pretty crumbly and it's still really warm inside. So as it cools, if you aren't impatient like I am, you will have like a little bit more of a more delicate crumb. It's still quite hot. My favorite part is the outer crust. It gets nice and crunchy, and it's just really delicious. Thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope you all make this recipe and love it. It's really quick and easy to make. Only takes maybe 10 minutes of work, and then a while in the oven, but it's a really easy recipe to whip up when you need something to give friends or to have for a party. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.